So we flew over like this, and then we'll fly our thermal and infrared. Sometimes we'll do both at the same time, but in these images that I'm going to show you, we've actually taken the separate flights and we're going to lay them over each other just to show you some examples of what we're looking for. So on this one, we'll show you that there's some wrinkling of this top layer, which usually causes drainage issues and so on. But there's nothing really bad about this roof. There's a few small hail impacts visible, but very, very little. This is some drainage issues right here, just dust and debris that's built up. However, when we pull in the thermal image, you can already start to see there's two areas here that are severely damaged. They're working their way down. We can actually see within 1/10 of a degree when it changes. So we can see the compaction of the material as well as any moisture, air working its way through the material. So now you can see that around this area that's getting wrinkled, we've actually got two pretty severe areas starting to show up. And this area is actually starting to disappear. So the area you would think if you were walking up there that was bad is actually not that bad. It just has some wear you can see from weight sitting on it over time. That's that nice even wear pattern like that. These more severe jagged edges are actual impacts or severe moisture infiltration. So we can also see hail impacts that we couldn't see before. And they mostly just show up as a small discolored area. However, the reason they're discolored is because they're putting off a different temperature than the area around them. So when you compact any two materials, you're going to see that they insulate different than they did before. So we've got some edge wear right there, and we've got two severe areas right here starting to show up. As I go on to the next image, they're going to get worse and worse. This one had some very severe damage that was hidden. So again, we're looking here. There's a few vent lines, some HVAC units, condensers, and blower units. We've also got some vent pipes over here and a drain. Now, as we bring in the thermal image here, you're going to see there is severe moisture damage here coming from the flashing, as well as what appears to be coming from the condenser coil over here. You can start to pick up impacts from the hailstorm. We can see the impacts inside of here, which when they hit moist areas like that, or if the roof was already a little bit degraded, they show up as a little bit bigger than they would if it's a firm material. But as you can see, as we go back and forth here, this general wear area, you can see water has pooled there, but it doesn't look that bad as far as underneath. You wouldn't pick up that there's actually moisture damage all the way up into the flashing here, and this area doesn't show up at all. Nothing. There's nothing over here to show you that that's completely rotted underneath. So we're able to give the client this and show them that there are some severe wear areas. It could also be dangerous to walk on. Now we'll go on to the next one. This one here, again, it looks like this would be the most severe area. You can see the hail impacts on all this tin and all these vents. You can see visually, you can see hail impacts throughout here. All these little white marks are all hail impacts. And that's great that for them to show insurance adjuster so we can show them where the impacts are. However, when we bring in the thermal, surprise, the damage is not actually over here. There's one little area here and here that are starting to seep through impacts, and you can see the cylindrical marks right there of hail. And those are pretty easy to pick up after you do this for a few years. But there is severe moisture damage underneath this HVAC unit over here. Yet on the surface level, it's pretty hard to pick up anything other than what looks like some surface wear. But this whole area right here is severely rotted out. And I would guess that if they went up into the attic of this area, they would find moisture right through into the insulation. This one's pretty bad. And they keep getting worse. This is another one. You can see here, we've got some surface wear. We've got some hail impacts, some obvious hail impacts. We've got some dents to our HVAC blower right here, but when we bring in the thermal, the entire area is rotted out. And this was roof C, I believe, on the list. So this is actually sunk down, and this is that surface wear area. So as this rots out and stays moist for a long period of time, that top layer actually sinks down. So it'll actually show up completely different than the area around it as it sinks. And the thermal and infrared signature completely changes. But here again, we've got hail impacts all throughout here that we can read with the thermal image. We can even see the difference in the metal when it's been impacted. And finally, this is the last one. I'll bring that away. This is the same area of the roof, but what I wanted to show you is when we recalibrate our sensors and we want to pick up the worst areas first, we can see that these areas have sunk down the most. We've got that severely damaged area up here on roof A, the severely damaged area on roof B, and roof C is just completely rotted out here. So this is almost guaranteed to be leaking inside. But you can also easily pick out the round shapes of the hail impacts. And right up here, this is a better section of roof. And when you look at a better section of roof that is not wet underneath currently, the hail impacts are small and very well defined. And we can actually count them per square foot, per square yard, whatever. We can count the hail impacts. So that's about it. That's what we wanted to show you, and just see how easy it is to pick it up once you have the right sensors at the right time of day. Obviously it takes practice. We practice a lot. This one was a very good outcome for the contractor. Now they can make an honest assessment of the damage, and they can truly help their customer. So if you're a building owner or a maintenance manager, if you let your roof get this bad, or your siding rot out and your insulation go bad, you're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars when you could have been in the area of a small repair. So this is what we do for roofing and construction, and check out some of our other videos. Thank you.